We're next movie we're going to be discussing is Book Club Chapter 2. In this movie right here, we have, I said, the gang of horny old broads is back, and they are back. This time they're being horny in Italy. They decided to take a nice little trip to Italy, all the whole gang of them. Before this movie, they kind of ditched the whole I think book club element, because that was the whole big thing in the first one, was that these women, they were reading 50 Shades of Grey and they were trying to adapt the book to like their real lives. Here they kind of lose that a lot. It's just kind of them kind of doddering around Italy, because it's a bachelorette trip for Jane Fonda's character, because she's getting married to Don Johnson. And everything, like, so they're having a nice kind of like bachelorette kind of thing going on there. And that's kind of basically it. I mean, you just kind of see the beautiful Italy. I mean, it's a good like travel guide. It's a good like travel thing of like, hey, if you ever want to go to Italy, hey, there's beautiful things and everything like that. It's good for I think the chemistry between the women works pretty well. Here, like I said, the book element really isn't there anymore. Even though the movie does open up with a quote from The Alchemist, it does open up with that. And they do discuss a book that they are kind of reading. And it also does discuss like when COVID happened and them having to kind of communicate through Zoom and everything like that. And it's kind of been a minute since they've all been together, all in the same room together. So they kind of get on all that. But like I said, it's just mostly them traveling around Italy, getting into kind of different misadventures, getting arrested a couple times, trying on dresses, seeing different sights. Also, kind of meeting all these kind of different people. Like I said, Jane Fonda's character, she's engaged to Don Johnson, about to get married. But some other characters here, like you have, I believe her name is Candice Bergen, who's in this. So the list of women, so you have Jane Fonda, who I mentioned already. You have Diane Keaton and Mary Steenburgen. So that's the group of 4 women that are in this. And Candice Bergen, she's the only one that isn't. Diane Keaton, her husband passed away, but Karen Bergen, you see her, like her and Diane Keaton are only 2 of them that's not married. And you kind of see them kind of meet different people, and Candice Bergen hook up with kind of some different people, which is good. I think that's good to see that, hey, older people, they can be in love too, and they still have adventures. They still date. They still get in love. Their lives aren't dead just because they're older people, which I actually appreciate. I actually like that. Like, you don't see that too often in movies. Usually when there's like a romantic comedy, it's between the age range of like kind of like late teen or like maybe teenagers all the way to like maybe 30s, like mid 30s is kind of what you see there. You don't really see anything past that really kind of advanced stage of like the 60s, because these women are in their 70s. I think the youngest one is Mary Steenburgen, and I want to say she's in her 60s. I want to say Mary Steenburgen in. Let me see how old is she's. Okay, she's 70. So she's the youngest one. She's 70. So it's like 70 to 80s that these women are in. And I think the oldest one is Jane Fonda, and she's 85. And she still looks good, Jane Fonda. I mean, a lot of that is kind of some work done. She had a little bit of work done, but hey, if it looks good, it looks good. Hey, if it's still holding up, then hey, good on you.
Sure.
Yeah. My thoughts on the first one, which I think we have the review of the first one on the page on YouTube, youtube.com, the afternoon two. I believe we do have it. But my opinion on that, if I remember correctly, was like, okay, it's cute. It's whatever. Like I said, it's, these group of women hanging out. It is kind of like lame kind of sex jokes, old people jokes, which they kind of do again here. Like a lot of the jokes are, you're old, you know what I mean? Like, like you're so old, you got missing knees and hips, and you got artificial knees and hips and everything like that because you're old. There's a lot of jokes like that in here too. But I think they're having fun. They're having a good time. I mean, they're basically on a paid vacation right now because they get to go to Italy to do this movie. So that's probably one of the reasons why they kind of want to come back for it. But so I think that's kind of fine. It's probably a good movie to watch. Like if you maybe, I don't know, saw your grandmother, I don't know, you give it to her, maybe she like it. Or like older women in your life, maybe they would have some enjoyment out of it. Dusk, what were some of your thoughts on Book Club Chapter 2?
Well, yeah. This is very similar to the first one in a lot of ways. Actually very similar to a lot of earlier movies from the early 2000s, like Catch and Release and a few other movies like that, where it's very much a mom film. This is a film specifically for older women, probably the age range between late 30s, 40s to about 60s and above, like a Mamma Mia kind of crowd. And for them, this is pretty much everything you want. They're going to want to see. They're going to want to see a lot of traveling. They're going to want to see beautiful vistas. You want to see this. I think a lot of this is just tailored for them, and so it's hard to give it a critique with that. But that being said, there's just situations in these in this movie where you're just like, there's no way that a human being handles that situation. Like at one point, Diane Keaton's their luggage gets stolen at one point, and how they handle it is, well, things can get replaced, and we'll worry about that later. It's like, except one of them had like her husband's ashes in it, and I don't think that would be what most people's reactions would be. Later, it does wrap around, but still, that's just one of those things. And yeah, this movie does have a very much a feeling of a COVID-19 kind of incorporated into the movie situation, especially on the budget side and the situation, especially a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of other things like that. Honestly, if you enjoyed the first movie, this one is pretty much similar. It kind of has a similar vibe. It's just a shame that you have a lot of really talented older actresses, and they're not really given too much stuff to really like allow their acting chops. But I guess they do seem like they're having some fun. So at least if you're interested in seeing that, there at least is that. Just I could have wished that maybe a better movie be around it while that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, these women, they're all, very, very talented actresses. They've been in Hollywood for a long time. And Martin Lewis film, he had a good point. He said this is basically like 80 for Brady. They even have some similar people from 80 and Brady. Like I think Jane Fonda's also in 80 for Brady too, in that one as well. And yeah, it's like, what roles are out there for women at this age and stage of their careers? Probably not a whole lot,
right.
Or if you are going to be in it, you're probably mostly going to be playing like a mother or grandmother or something like that. Here, they're not defined by being like a mother or grandmother. Like they got their lives, they're still living it, they're still doing things. Like I said, it's good to show that. And I mean, obviously, it seems like all these women also have incredible amounts of privilege, given that they can just go to Italy. You know what I mean? And then
right.
Even when they lose their luggage, they can just be like, oh, that's okay. We could just replace all that stuff. It's like just like that. You know what I mean? They're not freaking out like, holy fuck. Like if somebody just lost their luggage with all their clothes in it, they'd be like, what the fuck? Like how am I gonna get all that stuff back? And how can I get it back? They're just like, whatever. It's just luggage, just clothes, whatever. Like there's probably expensive shit in that luggage. But they were just like,
it's just my husband's ashes.
Yeah, we could just replace that, whatever. That's fine. So it's like you kind of have to go there because all these are like really big professional women. I think Candice Bergen's character, I think she was a judge. I think that was her career. And then I don't know the other. I don't know the other women and what they did, but yeah, it seems like they obviously are very well off that they can do a lot of this stuff. So yeah, so it's kind of a fantasy there that these women can do these things there for if you got the money. But like I said, they work well together. The women, I think they're fine together, and that I think is one of the saving graces of this movie. When I was watching the movie, funny thing happened though. I was watching it at AMC. And this was pretty much towards the end of the movie, but they just shut the movie off. They cut that shit to black. I was watching it, and they just, I guess, they were like, man, we want to go home. Turn this shit off. Fuck this shit. Because I kind of had a late screen, and it was like, I watched it I came in there at like 7 something, and it was like, I think it was already 8 or something like that, and then the screen just cut to black. The screen just was like, done. And I'm like, wait, what just happened? And so they were just like, man, you ain't watching this shit no more. Who the fuck is watching Book Club 2 on a Wednesday night? Ain't nobody doing this shit. We going home. And they just this cut. So I was like, oh shit, okay. So I didn't even tell nobody. I was just like, oh well, because it was pretty much the end. I can get like it was pretty much the end of the movie. So I was like, okay, whatever. Like there's only probably going to be a few more scenes after that. So yeah, that was just kind of a funny thing.
Yeah, you were at the wedding scene, right?
Yeah, I was at the wedding scene already. Yeah. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah, basically, alchemists they're like, our lives are more similar to this famous book than we thought. Wraps up the end. You already saw the ending, so they're like, done. He's seen it enough.
Yeah, so they just said, yeah, fuck it, yeah. So that was just kind of funny. Uh, but like I said, so if you maybe watched the first one, if you did, you maybe like this one too. You maybe like how beautiful it looks, it being in Italy, everything like that.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's good that hey, shows old people they're getting out there. Good for them. They're doing their thing,
Hmm.
so that's awesome for them. So on that, I kind of give it just a basic, maybe stream it, just a basic kind of stream it there. What
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, I'm mostly in your park. I can't hate it. It's definitely not for me. It is what it is, and it's selling a low bar. It knows who it's selling its audience to, and there is an audience. This is an audience of moms, wine aunts, Mamma Mia fans, people like that. This is a very specific demographic, and you know what? They know their audience, so fair to them to that. I wish it could have been a bit better quality than it is, but that being said, yeah, this is like a stream it. This is a you don't have to go to the theaters for this. You just sit back, you have a good time, and you watch it in your own home. You don't have to go to the theaters to see this.
Yeah. So, two streamings for Book Club Chapter 2.